lead the conversation.
I feel like it'd be nice to get a overview from not SV people. You know, I was the only person in there that was like 1 out of
Oh,
20
okay.
that had a spot, and I was the only ABC person, so kind of
Sure.
odd. So I was thinking maybe we could get kind of a more reasonable side, not just a bunch of people getting on their knees for Craig.
I just got a notification from you. You just went live.
All right, let's put this on Twitter. Do you have any?
Hey, look at you.
Oh yeah.
Throw in coin spice. That's where all the shit goes down anyway.
Oh yeah, post that shit on. Maybe we can get like Jake or Mike in here.
Do I just send the link? Or...
Yeah, it's like in the lower right. At least it's on mine. Be careful not to post like an invite link. The one I sent y'all. So for anybody watching, apologize. We gotta start this up. So let's get some people in here.
All right, so, coin spice.
All right, so I got get it on tweet. Hashwar commentary post CSW fight. All right. Retweet that shit. Let's. Copy link. I hate switching browsers. I had to get the Chrome browser for this.
Yeah, I was just in Brave and it didn't work.
Holy crap! We got 42 viewers. It's like as much as the SV one on Keyport. All right, so let's put this. People get like IMU name in here.
Ooh, that'd be spicy.
Yeah, I want somebody that's like I know that there was some technical blunderings on Craig's side. I just can't. He was shooting stuff way too fast. There was no way I could ever keep up.
Yeah.
Let's see where else I can put this. So you already got in Coin Spice. Let's put it in the Lord and Savior's. Praise be.
Praise be.
Three viewers.
Chat's already lit.
All right, but you're seeing the chat?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for anybody watching, this is the first time going live. Never messed with it, so we're gonna have a rough start here. So if anyone wants to come on, shoot me a
Drunk Satoshi. Who wants to be Satoshi? Whose turn is it?
We've already announced. We've already voted in. So if you try to go against that, like you're out.
Sorry.
All right, sweet. All right, so well, that's out there. So back to it.
Yeah, why don't you?
Okay.
Why don't you recap it for us?
All right, yeah. So there's been a live stream going on pretty much all day on Keyport TV, just kind of covering the quote Hashwar, and I was invited by Connor from BCH Boys to go on and talk to the Keyport guys. So I had an hour slot, and I was the only ABC guy or pro ABC guy that was on there out of maybe 20 people. And so I started by myself. I just started answering questions, kind of giving a little bit of commentary. And then freaking Craig Wright rushes in and just starts like it started off like light, like trolling, but you know, it just kind of escalated from there. And so I got to converse with Craig Wright for about 45 minutes. It was extremely interesting, and it was a total ambush. I don't blame the Keyport guys. I messaged them on Telegram, and they seem to think that I can get the recording. So as long as I can get the recording, I'm good with it. But other than that, it was like I was totally unprepared, flying off the seat of my pants versus Craig Wright. So did y'all end up actually getting to see any of it?
I heard you got shown some watches.
Right. so he's talking about money, and I was like, how he's got more money than Roger or Jihan. And so I was like, bullshit, dude. I think they got more money than you. And the guy starts breaking out like expensive watches, like 4 or 5 of them. He's like, bam, golden Rolex, bam, bam, Timex. It was just like, it was just flexing. So I thought that was pretty amazing. It's definitely going to go on my wall. But did you catch it, Wes X?
Yeah, I saw his watches, but I wasn't impressed. And how much money you have doesn't determine how efficient you are at spending it. We see that with ball players, right? Makes millions of dollars playing ball, and then they lose their fortunes. So having money doesn't necessarily mean you know how to spend it correctly. So that's
for sure.
an important thing that he doesn't understand.
Especially if we don't know whose money it really is. So,
well, that's another. Yeah, and if it's not your money, you're not going to spend it as if you'd spend your own money. And Enchain, they're spending their investors' money.
Right.
So, they're all getting paychecks, and it's not their money in the first place.
Yeah, definitely. If anyone follows the trail of funding, it's quite a long ride. I recommend anyone to just give it a go.
Well, that's what this looks like to me. So in this space, you're going to see a lot of patent troll companies trying to find market share. So we could use Blockstream as an example. So they create patents, things like that. So there's lots of companies that are going to try and capture market share in this space. And so these IP troll companies are not going to go away, right? So
we'll go ahead. Don't let me cut you off.
So what we're seeing here is a very sophisticated attack by a IP company. So what they're doing is not only are they doing a social media campaign, they're investing. You see they have a couple of projects, hand cash, things like that. So they're trying to get into the community, get a message out there, right? We're here to protect Bitcoin. They have some slogans. They bastardize the white paper. And so they're using the social media, but they're also have a second prong attack, which is renting hash power, right? And creating this this effect, another social effect where it's like, oh, we're also miners, right? We also secure the network. And so they have this two-prong attack in order to gain market share in this space. So what we're seeing is a really sophisticated attack by a patent troll company.
I'd say that it's kind of, I'm highly against it, but at the same time, it's like we need to figure out how to thwart these attacks right now, because we're going to have predatory companies like this come in eventually. So really, honestly, it's like sooner the better. So it's just like right now we need to figure out, what does this mean to the future of Bitcoin and similar projects? How are we going to defend against 51% attacks? Like everyone so far has been playing real nicely, but there is a real risk, that people will destroy these smaller chains for profit. And I mean, if SV would have been successful taking over BCH, I have absolutely no doubt that they would have put untold amounts of money into GPU farms and then started taking them down, smaller coins, and mining empty blocks and turning.
Well, that's where the community has to start to realize that Bitcoin Cash is a minority chain. It's not Bitcoin. It's Bitcoin Cash. We don't have majority hash rate. We have a minority hash rate. And we have to get our heads together and realize that the chain is much more vulnerable to attack than we'd like it to be. So you can see, the cost to attack the chain isn't that high. So a company like Enchain has an opportunity to come in and do what they're doing. So what we need to do is have an immune system, a social immune system, where we reject these types of attacks socially, right? Like we don't want our chain co-opted by a patent troll company, you know, and reject them completely, and that'll thwart their even attempt to do that. But because their social media campaign is so successful, they can see the opportunity to spend more money to take the attack further.
Right. Well,
but planning it from the beginning is
like the people on SV like to talk about proof of social media, but I mean, you go back to like the very beginning where Craig Wright came out. He was pushed by a PR company. Do either of y'all know which company it was? I know it was someone.
Yeah, they hired some PR company. I don't remember.
It was actually like a musician's PR company.
Yeah, it was David Bowie's PR.
Yeah, that's right. It was David Bowie's PR company. Like they hired them just to bring him out as Satoshi, and then you have Andrew O'Hagan's like shadowing Craig Wright for like 7 months, and this whole thing has a ton of money behind it.
Yes.
So,
yes, it's a very sophisticated attack to try and co-op a minority chain. The whole Satoshi, other part of the media attack, right? To try and gain some sort of following based on that by convincing people Satoshi when he can't sign it. It's a very sophisticated attack that we need to learn how to defend against.
Right. Well, one of the larger problems with this is like I call it what's it called?
Crypto Twitter.
Yeah, well, crypto Twitter is a mess. I spend way too much time on there as is. Like, I need to get my life on.
Yeah, I mean, it's like with the block button on Twitter, you can kind of create your own bubble.
Right.
And you see that with, every community essentially, especially when it gets hostile like this. Places like Reddit, I mean, it's just up to the moderators, and usually it's fine. I mean, our Bitcoin is obviously an edge case, but like on Twitter, it's all personal, and so you create your own bubble around you. So it's interesting to see this all play out, and then like how the censorship that was on our Bitcoin is kind of like the BCH community is almost scared of censorship now. And so they don't want to like push out any opposing voices because that's what Blockstream did, And it's like it's this weird line that I think every community kind of has to figure out. Like, what do we decide is bad for us,
Right. Well, hold on real quick because we do have 115 people, and we kind of started this a little bit odd. So let's do a couple introductions so people know who we are, especially the people that are going full on here.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Ty.
Hey, what's up? This is Lachanga.
What's up, Ty?
So I'm Don Wonton. This is my channel, Decentralized Thought. I do a bunch of different YouTube videos. I just about an hour ago had a segment on Keyport TV where I had an hour just to talk about the Hashwar. And then I got just ambushed by Craig Wright. He just jumped in about 10 minutes in and had about a 50-minute going back with him. So that was a first. Incredibly interesting. So I just thought the whole day that they've had a live stream right there, and I was the only pro ABC person there. So there's probably other 19 people that were all pro SB, and so it was a little strange that I got ambushed there. But so I thought, we'd do a live stream over here, just kind of taking the other side of things so people get kind of a clear vision of what's going on. So that's my introduction.
Got to fill in that coin spice gap.
Yeah.
Where did Colin go? Did he leave?
Oh no.
Oh.
Well, he'll get in a second. So one of y'all, I guess, jump in.
Well, my name is Wex on Twitter. I'm a miner, and I'm a big blocker, so I support the big blocking movement. I believe the block size should be higher than than it is on Bitcoin. And so I support the network the best I can.
Awesome. Right. By you, Ty?
Well, go by Lachongo on various social platforms here. Don't really use Twitter much, but yeah, I'm just mostly shitposter, I used to mine back in the day, used to do some GPU mining. Now I just make bad trades here and there and keep up with all the bullshit.
Yeah, I've never been a good trader, so...
But it's entertaining, and I've learned a lot, so hey.
All right, Colin, are you in? All right, sweet.
Yes.
Just in time for your introduction.
Cool. Yeah, so I'm Colin Enstead. Lately, I've been working with CoinSpice, just doing their videos. I I also did that barbershop ad. I'm a video director, so my main job is making videos. But been in Bitcoin since like 2013. Didn't really follow the politics of it much until basically 2017, and then I researched the whole scaling debate, saw how messed up it was, and here we are.
Awesome. So I guess the topic of the time, well, we can get into Craig Wright a little bit later, but so we are how many days into the quote unquote hash war?
It's like day
blocks.
Like it didn't, pretty much nothing happened, right? I mean, I've been saying from the very beginning, you know, there's going to be a split. All these people saying, you know, hashtag no split. Just, I mean, it was kind of obvious from the very beginning.
Well, the rule set isn't compatible, so
Right.
it's impossible for there not to be a split. There's just two separate rules. You've got DSV, you've got canonical transaction ordering, so you've got all these different rule sets that are different. Op mobile, even the opcodes have been raised. So how many you can have in the script? So it's impossible for there not to be two. There's just two incompatible rule sets.
Right. And I figured, that, the plan might have been to choke out the ABC chain, but doesn't look like that's happened, at least not yet.
Well, I mean, following the whole thing, like people were reading the white paper and they were kind of gathering their information about the hash war from that. So like there in the beginning, people were actually thinking that like there were going to be one chain and that N-chain was just going to like try to orphan the ABC blocks. And that way their rule set, like as it feels like a soft fork or something.
I mean, it'd still be two chains, but I guess their idea was if one chain is completely unusable, then there may as well only be one. But
one thing is like that's what happened. But like the narrative in the beginning, you know, initially it was just all over, you're just like no split. It was like, no guys, there's going to be a split. Like somebody can 51% the other side, but you can't not have a split if there's two incompatible rule sets.
As long as there's miners on both sides.
Yeah. So it's kind of like this changing narrative. The whole thing's been just like a surreal experience for me. Not only just kind of seeing how these things play out, but being on the other side of things. Like I can, you know, I do not like Bitcoin Core or what they've done, but I can kind of see some of the things and their dislike for the other side at the very least. Like I can empathize with them, because if they viewed us the same way that we, you know, our country, you know, with SV, like, but
anyway, we got some forkception going on here now. Who knows what's going to happen next time? Are we going to have the SV crew get all hostile and split off with each other?
Yeah. Well, somebody announced a new fork, the Satoshi's True Vision.
I'll buy that.
Good for they actually have an unlimited block size, you know, so there's no soft cap. So,
well, I mean, I've got unlimited resources.
Yeah,
so no problem, man. Unlimited blocks.
Poison blocks aren't a thing, guys. So, like, why not?
Well, that's how you scale the network, right? You just DDoS the network until you're the only guy left.
Yeah, and then it could freaking scale.
And then it could scale because you're the only node.
Right.
You don't have to propagate at all.
So,
peer-to-peer, what's that?
Just do a client-server model.
Exactly.
So, like, what's going like on with the fork right now? Like at this current moment, like our exchanges, has anybody opened up withdrawals or
just contracts for BCH only, and I guess they're letting BSV out but aren't trading it.
Right. Yeah, that's not surprising. Okay. Everyone's splitting the coins. You know that the whole unicorn narrative kind of fell apart extremely fast. It's kind of spreading throughout the network. Do y'all have any?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Well,
I was just going to say it didn't help to have prominent leaders such as Ryan, you know, having this narrative that there was going to be a unified coin, right, which was completely false. Anyone that knows how the system works, you've got new coin bases that are going to be after 100 confirmations that are going to mix in with the coins. The exchanges are going to mix coins. The whole unified narrative was completely false. And someone that had such a large platform like Ryan had a responsibility to be truthful, but instead he decided to be part of more of a social media campaign.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I mean, maybe if everybody took that approach, then we would have had miners mining a chain with no rule set changes. Basically, obviously, we still have the fork ID, still got to work with that. But maybe there could have been a third side of the split, but so far, no.
Well, the software didn't even work that he was pushing. Like money button crashed, cent B crashed, like everything. It was hilarious in the CoinSpice live stream to see Ryan talking about how money button crashed because it couldn't handle the large block size because they weren't configured. I'd say the whole thing with Ryan is just really upsetting to me. I made that video kind of in response. It was kind of playful. I was trying to just like poke him and try to get some responses, and like his video just came out and it totally didn't touch on what I said. He called me like a moron, an idiot, and a couple other things. So I've got to like cut those sound bites out for the future. But the whole thing, I mean, he knows what he's talking about. He's obviously a smart guy. He's smarter than me, but I'm smart enough to know that he was lying. So that whole thing is really disappointing. I mean, really, in this whole fork thing, just a whole lot of disappointment.
Yeah, I mean, like, somebody's saying Kraken was trading it, but I don't know if they're doing withdrawals or deposits, which is really the main thing. Because, I mean, Binance has the BCH, ABC, and the BCH SV right now. Mm-hmm. I think ABC is like 258 and SV is like 140 or something. Mm-hmm. But you can't withdraw a deposit, so it's just people that held BCH on Binance at the time. So, I mean, you have like a whale cash out. I know Jihan tweeted that he wanted to sell all of his SV coins. So, I mean, he literally owns like his company owns 1 million BCH. So you can just imagine what would happen.
It's like 1.5 now.
Is it? Jesus?
Yeah, it's like absolute. There's no market for SV though, because there's no utility, because the only thing they work with, hell, they don't even work with the money button, cent B, or hand cash, because they're all configured to this non-existent unified coin. Like, there's not a single thing out there for SV that actually works. They didn't even have a block explorer yesterday.
Do they have one now?
I think so.
I don't know. Craig,
I think I saw one that was posted in their GitHub, I believe.
So I'll have to try that out later. I don't know. The thing is, like, for anyone who's watching, there's a lot of people saying like the hash war continues, but it's like this thing that can't ever not be finished if you fork off, because they say that they're going to like attack the chain, but like the UTXOs are all split, separate transaction history, separate chains. At this point, all it is a 51% on the other side. There is no hash war. If they succeed, all the transactions, that on the ABC chain throughout the years they just go away. Everyone's money. So, I mean, it's really extremely, it's not even controversial at this point. It's outright malicious. So, but he's able to kick the can as far as he wants and say, this is a lot. He said in the interview that it was a game for bleeding. He wanted to bleed, them till 2028, I think he said.
2026. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, not 8. Yeah. 2026. So yeah, like another 8 years. So 8 years of transaction histories and people, transacting. So, I mean, he's able to say this. I mean, the hash war could go on for 2 years. What we're basically going to have is like a troll subset of the community. They're like, we're going to take you over, Bitcoin Cash. We're the real Bitcoin Cash. It's kind of poetic, honestly.
You mean what BCH has done to BTC?
And each time it's like the tier gets smaller. I mean, it's only a number of years, assuming that all of them grow market cap, that the subset happens of SV. Like, the other one's probably a joke, but like, it's eventually going to happen.
One reason why, first of all, anyone who advocates for hash war is retarded. Let me just put it out there. They're absolutely retarded. And let me tell you why. So the Bitcoin Cash and this is what we're trying to achieve here is a financial network. We're trying to create money, right? A financial network cannot be money if it has downtime, right? Like, you can't have downtime on a financial network. So anyone who's saying that there should be a hash war and we should take down the financial network that we're trying to build is retarded. Look, there's the exchanges aren't accepting deposits, withdrawals, right? The whole financial network that we're trying to build is completely offline, right? And that's not a precedent that we want to set for Bitcoin Cash. So the moment you advocate for a downtime in your network, you're just advocating to destroy value and to destroy consumer confidence in the product that we're trying to actually deliver to people. Right. And the important thing for people to understand is you hear a lot of this narrative how Bitcoin Cash is going to be world money. What people need to understand is that Bitcoin Cash is a voluntary system. People have to opt into this financial system, right? And so if we're going to create a financial system where we have downtime and hash wars, things like that, people are not going to opt into a financial network that has that type of property. Mm-hmm. So hash wars are retarded, and anyone who advocates for these hash wars shouldn't be taken seriously at all. And they don't have any business sense, and they don't understand financial networks and how they work.
Yeah. Well, we can already see some of the effects of that. I mean, some of the exchanges, like Binance, announced that they won't be changing the ticker from BCH ABC and BCH SV. Like, that's absolutely horrible. Bitcoin Cash is already kind of an underdog in the market, let's be honest, and this gives opportunities for people who already don't like it to just mess with it a little bit more. I mean, it was bad enough to go on Binance and see Bitcoin Cash, BCH, BCC. Now we've got BCH, ABC, and BCH, SV, and people are going to buy the wrong thing. It's not very knowledgeable. On top of the whole market just being down, like I haven't been able to buy anything with Bitcoin Cash, and that sucks. It's money. So, I mean, on top of that,
Hi, Joel.
Thinking about a hash war, just the very fact that like one conglomerate could come in with enough money and then just make the rules like willy-nilly. Like if it's okay if the Fed comes in and spends a couple $1 billion and then dominates Bitcoin or Bitcoin Cash's hash power, all of a sudden they're able to add inflation or anything. So many people that I've talked to, because Craig Wright said that he would confiscate people's coins who use illegal opcodes. And like these people are defending it, like confiscation of coins. And that's just like right now. So if you're willing to accept rule changes such as that, just give up, because the Fed or the government's going to have enough hash power, and then they're just going to make whatever rule sets they want. If you have a network that can be bought, it's not Bitcoin.
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, miners can destroy value, but the value itself comes from the ecosystem. So, they've got every power right now to act against their interest and take everything down and everyone with them. But,
Yeah, I mean, Bitcoin was built on incentives and like greed, essentially, that you wouldn't basically burn money. And it seems like that's possible with a minority chain, at least. I mean, if you had as much hash power to attack BTC, like this wouldn't be a thing. And so it's kind of interesting that because of the shared algorithm, this situation is happening where somebody's not being greedy, they're being hostile.
Right.
So,
I mean, it is some really interesting information for the future because, yeah, like I said, minority chain, we're less than 7% of Bitcoin now. So, like, yeah, we've got 2 billionaires fighting each other now, but what happens whenever it's 2 states fighting against each other? Like, what if China's like, these are the consensus rules we want on BTC, and what if, is that how this is going to play out in the future? So,
I mean, it's people don't want to admit it because everyone wants to say that Bitcoin Cash is Bitcoin, but the facts are that the incentive structure, one, is not perfect. It's not bulletproof. Satoshi always said so, and we all know it. But it gets worse if you're a minority chain. The incentives don't play out exactly the same because you can bribe miners, you can bring in hash, which is undoubtedly what we saw a little bit of. But it's not the same as if you're secured the largest chain with 90% of the hash power. The white paper assumes that you are the largest chain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they definitely wouldn't be trying this shit on BTC, or at least not yet.
No, not yet.
So, what do y'all think about the checkpointing?
Well, I'm interested to know, like, as far as what's the process on that? Like, we know there's a checkpoint at the fork block, but like, what good does that really do if, say, we're losing hash rate against SV, the defenders largely give up, and we still get like a 20, 30 block reorg? Like, I mean, I guess if no exchanges are trading, I guess it doesn't really matter. But when does this end? Like, when are we going to get back to commerce?
Yeah, when can we use it as money again?
Yeah. It seems like right now everybody's like, it's not really a war because everyone's just building up their defenses. No one's attacking each other. But if they attack each other, then everyone loses even harder. So what do you do?
Yeah. Yeah. It seems like we don't know, as far as I know, nobody knows like how many times the checkpoint happens or how frequent it is, just because, that would be, if you knew that, it would be easier to attack.
Sure.
Like, they can assume that maybe there's only a checkpoint at the initial fork, but they know that if they attack the chain and spend all that energy to shadow mine and reorg, they don't want to do that to just reorg 2 or 3 blocks. It's too expensive. So just since they don't know, it makes it even more unlikely that they'll try.
So what would like the process, like, if the checkpoint was to be enabled, like, how does that work? Do all the miners decide on it and start building on that particular block? So the checkpoint's like an overall thing that the miners have worked. That work exactly?
I'm thinking it'd be more like a bailout situation. Like, if, say, the chain does get attacked and all the players come together and say, hey, we're going to take this block as, the starting point now. So I think it'd be more of it seems like a precautionary measure, but I'm not sure if it could really be used in reality with like that.
Yeah, I think it's like a backup. Like you said, it's just everyone kind of agrees that on X block, beyond that, like, this is
the attack. Yeah.
After this, because I guess reorgs happen kind of in a natural way, but if you have a reorg 20 blocks back, like, it's an attack.
Right. Orphans are going to happen, but yeah, if you see a 20 block reorg, that's probably not natural. Right.
And a lot of people argue whether it's like centralized or not. I mean, if people want to build something on Bitcoin, they can. Like, it's not a protocol level change. In fact, hasn't it been in there for a while? Doesn't even SV have like a checkpoint system that they inherited from ABC?
I mean, didn't Satoshi put checkpoints in like 2009, 2010?
Yeah,
but the core took it out, and then ABC forked from core, and yeah, I don't think SV has any sort of that system, but could be wrong.
I don't know. I've heard some other things. I haven't tried anything with SV. Like, I'm kind of waiting for things to iron out before I use any of their products. I know it's kind of iffy on pretty much everything.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like the incentive structure in the white paper is, when it came out, like, that was the first. So you're kind of explaining to total newbies, even smart people, just people like, this is how the system works. But you start throwing things like exchanges and other incentive structures and reasons to maybe take over the chain outside of like initial profit. Things just start kind of changing. So going outside of it and putting a checkpoint like that's a defense. So, I believe that Bitcoin...
Well, that's what you should do. You should defend your financial network and keep it up as long as possible.
Yeah. It's ridiculous for the SVU people to just like talk about like death and bankruptcy and not expect these exchanges to be like, should we make a checkpoint or like protect ourselves? Anyways, it's like they just believe like everyone should just roll over and just accept, wow, my entire savings and transaction history and everything I have as money and it has been bought with money is like fucking gone. Oh, well, that's how Bitcoin works.
Well, in my opinion, the people that advocate for destruction are the people that advocate for this hash war are really advocating for destruction of property. They're actually more their ideology isn't quite libertarian. In my opinion, these UTXOs that we have are our property. We own them, and there's an applied easement in every block that we can access those. Right. So in order for Bitcoin to be money, you have to possess your UTXO, and then believe that you could use that in the future. Right. So if you have, let's say you have one coin, you're going to want to expect that you could use that coin tomorrow, the next day, right? You don't want to expect that your property, you won't have access to it. So there's this, so just assuming that we're going to try and create money is having an implied easement that we can access our coins in the future. So that's our property rights that we have to our property. So when people are advocating for reorgs or stealing money, they're really advocating to damage or to destroy other people's property. And they claim to be capitalists. They claim to be, to support private property rights. But the actions don't suggest any of that. They suggest that they can collectively steal property or damage property, and people are going to opt into a system like that, which we know isn't to be true.
It doesn't even have to be like anarchist or libertarian. It's just sound money. If you're going to go around taking property and stealing and reorging, like what's the point of a blockchain in the first place? Like the point is supposed to be it's hard money. This is immutable. This transaction happened.
Right.
So
but money has to be usable. I mean, let's say you have a bank account, you have $10,000 in there. You don't expect that to be less than 10,000. You expect it to always be 10,000. You expect to be able to. I expect to be able to use it a year from now, right? Or 5 years from now. So it's you can't build a financial network where you are unsure if you can access your funds or not.
Yeah, I mean, I saw a lot of people, angry yesterday and like today because essentially you can't use your Bitcoin Cash to buy stuff. Like that's literally Bitcoin Cash's use cases to be a money to buy things. And it was basically shut down because not because the blockchains weren't working, but because the ecosystem was just like, we don't know what's going on. And it's just like, if the fork was planned a little better and like, hey, we're going to have 2 chains, and everybody kind of got briefed and there was accurate information on what was going to happen, you went to see this like deadlock in the Bitcoin Cash community that's going on right now. And it's messed up. I mean, it's fucked up. I mean, like, it's supposed to be world money, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
Yeah. I want to give this a little bit, I want to kind of dig in I want this to be kind of the real, I don't want to say unbiased, but like informational version of the stream. Like sure. I want and not just outright strange. So I want to just go to do a screen share real quick. Tell me if y'all can see just application window. So we got a magical tone. So one thing that's been really strange is there's this guy, Robert Miller. He's very pro ABC, very anti in-chain, and he just had his account removed off of yours, which is full of anti-Satoshi or fake Toshi posts. And so he's you can see right here he's messaging Ryan X Charles, and wait, I gotta remove this smiley face or the frowny face that Ryan did. And he just took his account down because it's anti Craig Wright and anti Satoshi's vision. And so he had all
his excuse was apparently if you spam the vote button on your own post, you can vote for yourself multiple times, but that doesn't give you any more money. I guess it's just a bug. So that was his excuse for banning him.
All right. Well, the platform isn't even usable right now, is it?
Apparently not. Maybe that's why they took it down. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing is just a mess. But gee, I don't know how to get out of this now. There we go. So on top of the tech, you just have like a lot of just weird stuff like that. It's in my opinion, we messed up really bad when we did just total anti-censorship, just allowing anything to be posted without anybody kind of saying, hey, let's delete this because it's an outright lie. Like trolls and stuff are fine, but whenever you start spreading misinformation and propaganda, like things are kind of going awry. And anytime in any Bitcoin Cash groups right now, you have if anyone gets kicked out for doing anything just super pro Craig Wright or just absolutely being vicious and toxic, they scream censorship and all this. But if you go on their chats, they'll just kick you for not being pro SV. And we have yours. And I mean, this is not the first message I've seen about deleting pro or anti Craig Wright material. like this is just one that just happened like 5 minutes ago. So on yours, this is happening. You can ban. It's classic move to just give some reason that you're banning people, but I mean the reason is obvious right now.
Yeah, but I mean, yours, it's his site. Yours is not the Bitcoin Cash blockchain. He decides what he wants on the site. So, I mean, yeah, if I was him, I wouldn't take those actions. But
I mean, I think it's totally fine for that to happen. But for anyone, I want it to be very clear that it is happening.
Well, I think we could just look at the type of individuals that support the SV platform. They're very, they don't have a lot of business sense, and Ryan is politicizing his company, and that is not that's not a good business move. Businesses shouldn't be political, and so we can see that Ryan isn't a very good businessman. He believes that he should politicize his company, and so this is the route he's taken, and that's just kind of. Yep, he's going to do that, and well, we'll see how his business works.
Yeah, but like, look at the bigger picture is what is yours. It's a search engine. So like,
it's where you beg. It's where you beg for money.
right.
Yeah, that's what it is right now. It's just a place for third world countries to beg for Bitcoin Cash.
Right.
Ed hates me right now, but shout out to Ed because he's given like tons of money on there. You should totally stop because it'll never. It'll keep coming, but you got a good heart, Ed. I know. But
by the way, Kraken just said that Bitcoin Cash in parentheses ABC is BCH.
There we go.
So just Kraken.
It's very clear. Kind of what's I think right now who's the winner. I think you've got this weird.
Well, nobody's winning.
Yeah,
there's no winner. That's for sure. Nobody's gonna win.
Someone might lose a little less.
Someone might lose less. There you go.
But yeah, I guess all the exchanges. Are there any exchanges that have actually gone and put SV as Bitcoin Cash?
I don't believe so.
There's a good opportunity there, right? Like, what happened to Encrypt? What happened to Credits Exchange? Why don't they have one?
What happened to all the 20 other shell companies?
Right.
Purchased Enchain.
I mean, they're putting all this money into what? Marketing? Like, why don't they make some products?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like, from what I hear, the Enchain's, their office, I mean, it's pretty much just lawyers. I mean, they are an IP company, basically.
Yeah.
And I guess, I mean, it's not proven, of course, but I mean, I think it's fairly, we can assume that a lot of their hash power is rented. No one can find out where it's coming from. And it's kind of not very profitable to mine. So if you have a lot of money, you just kind of pay somebody else.
I do want to see what happens if Enchain does end up, patent trolling, basically. Like, what's the precedent going to be for, like, what is Bitcoin? Like, what if they're like, well, our chain is Bitcoin. Then, the courts are like, oh, okay, cool. Like, what's going to happen?
Got to like prove that they are Bitcoin.
Right.
The stranger thing in court is going to be this. They've like publicly released several times that all their patents are open for free for Bitcoin Cash. So whenever they don't have the Bitcoin Cash brand or ticker and they're on BSV, that's going to get extremely interesting.
But then you can still argue, the ticker isn't the coin, right? Like, right. I mean,
yeah, it's just like it's loose promises. It's not there, but it's just it's going to be interesting to see that pivot. BSV is the real Bitcoin Cash. Is the real Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
But has there been any update on the Satoshi shotgun?
It seems like ABC's keeping up as far as the mempool goes right now. That's all I can see.
I mean, like, we saw, I don't know exactly what happened, but, yesterday we kind of saw some spam transactions kind of coming through from the shotgun, assumingly, and then everything just kind of like stopped.
And well, the Brandon guy or whatever said they were experiencing problems with the shotgun. So I don't know. I wonder why.
Well, in the post that are in our little argument that it was SV had done something with malleability.
But isn't malleability good?
He did say that like 5 minutes before.
Exactly.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I think he's just pulling shit out of his ass there. Who knows?
Well,
I think miners just aren't mining shit that they obviously don't want to. Like, that's their right?
Yeah, I guess Bitcoin.com at the time was probably just not having any of it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think they were even putting op return data in their transaction saying Satoshi Shotgun. So it's like, oh, hey, look at me. You want to not put me in your block?
Yeah. They're putting like brands in there, weren't they?
What's that?
I said I think they were putting brands in there, like, the people who help fund Satoshi Shotgun. They were like putting them.
Oh yeah. I don't know. I haven't seen the actual transactions. I guess we can do it. But.
I'd be interested to see if any op return transactions or transactions with op return actually made it through. They might have just done like a blanket ban at the moment.
Maybe. The ABC mempool is up to 34 megabytes right now.
34 megabytes.
Yeah.
According to Johos, or
this could get interesting. Check out CoinDance. If my eating is loud, just tell me I'll move the mic away, but I'm starving.
It's Mario.
So yeah, at least according to Johos, looks like SV is chewing through a little bit more. They're only at about 11, 12 megs right now.
Did they get a block recently, or are there more transactions being pushed to ABC?
Well, I'm guessing it's all probably stress test stuff. I think it's just the last 4 blocks on ABC have all been capped at either 4 or 8 megs. So BMG mined at 20, just and a CoinGeek at 10 the past 2. So, but then again, we have BTC.com going up to 18 so far. So yeah, just miners deciding how big they want their blocks.
Oh, hey, it's my friend from Atlanta. This is John. He's a Bitcoin maximalist. Hey, John, you want to introduce yourself?
We can't hear you,
Can you guys hear me?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, good. I got everything working. Hi, I'm John Ruggieri. Colin and I just did a meetup presentation together for Bitcoin Atlanta. So I come more from the core perspective, but not. I don't think I would consider myself 100% maximalist, but just seemed like a discussion that would be fun to be a part of. So thanks for having me.
Yeah, definitely. So
welcome, John.
I think we're all part of the Bitcoin Cash BCH gang here. So kind of from an outsider perspective, like how crazy does it look?
It doesn't look crazy. There's a lot of feeling of, yeah, you guys know how we feel now, sort of going on from our perspective. It's like,
no kidding.
Okay, now you know how we felt last August, like somebody peed in our Cheerios, so to speak, and it's hard to tell what's happening and what to believe and what not to believe. But I think you guys may have it worse. I definitely have a lot of sympathy for what's happening, just because it's completely unclear how the ecosystem can operate now, or when it will be able to begin to operate. And that's not what even we want for Bitcoin Cash. I've learned to understand that we need the Bitcoin Cash experiment, even if we believe in second layer solutions, because if we're wrong, then we need a backup plan, and you guys are our backup plan scaling on chain. So
right,
it's an experiment that has to run, and I don't want to see it fail. But at the beginning, there was a lot of feeling like, oh, now you know what we feel like, so what we felt like last year. So now that that's passing, I'm like, you guys better figure this out. Somebody better go ahead and put in replay protection and get the ecosystem stabilized again, so you can use it as cash. That would be good for it to see from an outsider perspective.
Yeah, definitely. I actually, I use the Lightning Network kind of regularly. I've made a couple hundred transactions in the past couple weeks, and I fill my Lightning channel with Bitcoin Cash. Like I use, Lightning Exchange and refill my channels with it. So it's kind of knocked me out of both using Bitcoin Cash and the Lightning Network. So that kind of sucks.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess if you had Bitcoin Cash on an exchange, you could exchange it for Bitcoin and use it in your Lightning channel. But if you didn't, then you can't get Bitcoin Cash to an exchange, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're dead in the water right now. Well, I guess some things are opening back up, but like for the past couple days, it's been not much moving it. So I guess we don't even really know what the effects of all this to the price is, since there hasn't really been any trading open.
Yeah. Colin's watching the Telegram, I bet. You can tell by the sunset.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I couldn't figure out how to get the super chat working. I think they have to like okay your channel, so it hasn't been done. So it looks like the chat is just us. So if anyone has any questions or anything like that, I mean, hit one of us up on Telegram or Twitter. Both of mine are Don_Wonton. And then I'll try to get to any topics that might need to be brought up.
So I have a question that maybe will get another discussion going. How does so coming from the ABC camp and wanting to move Bitcoin Cash forward, how does everybody feel about CZ of Binance fame coming right out of the gate and offering a virtual split and trading back again with 2 coins?
Yeah, I would say we're not like ABC like camp. I would say we're almost like at this point we're the anti-SV camp, I guess would be the better way to put it. Because it's just like, I mean, ABC is the resistance, if you want to call it that at this point, because there wasn't a no split. But anyways, the Binance thing, ballsy move. It is Binance though, and they've had the ticker at BCC for the entire lifespan of Bitcoin Cash. So I'm not super surprised, but I think they just want the trading fees. I don't know what else there is to that.
Yeah, I really don't blame CZ. Yeah, I mean, there's really not a whole lot of reason right now for him to care. So why not rake in those fees, basically?
Yeah, I guess he's being true to his, I guess, his business model. His business model is to be the place people go and trade new assets, and he saw this as 2 new assets.
I mean, it is. So he doesn't have to give the old name to anyone if he doesn't want to. I mean, the ticker is, a completely subjective thing. Anyone can label their chain whatever they want. It's just hopefully we have some sort of social consensus here to get people on the same page.
Yeah, it's like the SV crew they like threatened exchanges multiple times saying, we're going to bankrupt you and we're going to double spend on you. And I mean, exchanges they're not going to take that. So they like CZ or like Binance, they went ahead and split it and they didn't give the BCH ticker to anyone. They said, screw that. Like, we're just going to give you BCH ABC and BCH SV. So
yeah, I noticed the BCH ticker just disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
And that was an interesting approach.
And Poloniex has done the same thing as well. So I'm not sure who's leading trading volume right now. I know Poloniex was, because they were the first to do the split here, basically.
It's basically just it is a opportunity for anyone who doesn't already like Bitcoin Cash to further confuse, because there's so much branding around BCH, like anything you buy, any merchandise is all BCH. So now the more trouble with the name and the ticker they can put in there.
Well, I think it's also going to be a reality call to some people that believe that hash power decides what happens outside of the protocol. So a lot of this, if our chain has more hash power, the exchanges have to give us the ticker. And it's sort of a delusional state that some individuals are in. And so this is
the white paper is that in again?
Yeah, exactly. So I think this is a real wake-up call to some people that, hey, maybe the market as a collective intelligence decides these things.
Yeah, it's like the belief that they're just gonna switch around tickers on depending on what the longest chain is just delusional. Like exchanges just aren't gonna go through that much work and that much.
Yeah, but a lot of
them
virtue signaled that they were going to do that, right? They were going to consider the longest chain BCH, right?
Right, and I think the ones that have said that have not gone back on that. I still think they're not trading more than one side of the fork, or they're, yeah. I don't think Poloniex or Binance ever said that, as far as I know. Could be wrong.
I saw a Twitter poll with people basically betting on how long it's going to take Coinbase to finally get around to offering anything. They'll probably be the last to the party.
They normally are. I mean, biggest boat moves the slowest.
Yeah. I mean, this could, like, before the waves of this kind of end, as far as being able to go back to where we were and just go back to normal, it could take months. I mean, hopefully not. It could take weeks, certainly, but I mean, this could set us back a whole lot.
Yeah, I'm bearish on BTC also because I think this might take quite a while. And I think in the mainstream media, I mean, Colin and I were talking about this at the meetup. The mainstream media is they're not going to understand any of the nuances or who the people are that are involved or what the technology differences are between the various forks. They're just going to say Bitcoin's broken, and it's probably not a good place to put your money. And so without a lot of new money coming in, you know, the whole ecosystem is going to suffer in the middle of a bear market, which is
yeah, you got that bad news plus like some of the bulls. I mean, not bulls, but some of the whales might be cashing out just to fight this battle.
Yeah, and I guess you guys, if you wanted to get cheap BCH, you could bet both sides of this chain and buy one of each, and then you don't have to gamble and hope that you're right on who's going to come out victorious. Or, I mean, it seems pretty clear that the community structure is on the ABC side, and the moxie and the attitude is on the SV side.
Right, you got an overload of testosterone over there and just ready to go for it.
Chad SV.
We need the amount of memes that are going to come out of this for the next week are gonna make me happy.
What would really put the SV side over the top is if you know, if McAfee got a tattoo that said SV or something, and
right on his back
on the SV side all the way.
Hey, show your tat, Don.
Oh God, I guess, you know, I said I was gonna get it filled in if ABC wanted, but I got this big ass BCH tattoo.
Bring closer.
I don't. Oh God. I gotta make some noise.
That
so
is priceless.
Yeah, I mean, it's big. Like it probably wasn't the best long-term decision. So I decided not to get it filled in until like after this Hashwar is over, because it was like filling it in is probably gonna be, I don't know, $200. Laser tattoo removal was like $1,200 or something. So I'm just gonna have to like wait and see. But
maybe there'll be wings on the top in the next version.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was growing up, tattoos were forever, but now it's just expensive to remove.
Right? Yeah, it's just I'll just have to cash out some of my Bitcoin Cash to remove my Bitcoin Cash tattoo.
Irony. But
I want to be like, what's that guy's name? He's got like the blue hair.
Matt Corallo.
No, not the developer. He's another YouTuber.
What's that guy's name?
He's hilarious.
Into strippers and
yeah, he did
he's got a tattoo for every coin that he's bullish on.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Ken Bozak.
Yeah, Ken Bozak. That's it. So, yeah, he's interesting. I watched his interview with the what was that, Stroking Token? So bullish on Stroking Token. I don't know if he got a tattoo or not.
It's true.
Yeah, Ken is he's like an everything evangelist. Like he doesn't even care.
Except for Craig.
Weed is legal, he's happy.
Is Stroking Token a hooker coin?
No, I think it's like a sex toy coin. Like, I'm not even sure at this point. They're like making an ICO on everything.
Is that the new Bitcoin?
The new, this is a new Bitcoin 2.0.
Sweet.
But so what do y'all think we're kind of going to like see here over the next week as far as the split? Do you think things are going to continue? Do you think Craig's going to attack, or do you think it's going to be one of those things that it's kind of like the flip inning? It's always about to happen, but never does.
Well, here's my perspective as a miner. So you can see in the beginning how lots of proof of work was put into the ABC rule set, and now you can see that kind of taper off where it's sort of matching what the SV hash power has, and that makes a lot of sense to me. I think a lot of people will look at that and say, "Oh well, ABC is losing hash power," but in reality, what's happening is they are now matching SV as close as possible. This way, they can mine on BTC and get some more revenue, right? Because you want to minimize your losses in this hash war, right? You don't want to burn more money than you have to. So essentially, if you look at the coin dance, you can see how there's this huge excessive proof of work to really strengthen the chain, and then eventually now we're matching SV. So I think what we're going to see is the ABC side keep as close as possible to SV. This way they can maximize their revenue by mining BTC at the same time.
Yeah, that's a good point. They'll probably develop some sort of auto flipping software that just depending on what SV is doing, it goes back and forth.
Yeah, right now, as far as I can see, there's some Telegram chat about that, but hopefully that'll be kind of coded in a little better.
Yeah, as a miner myself, I'm noticing overall we're so far into the bear market, especially on some of the other algos like Ethash and Equihash and Monero 7. It's like it's almost not worth it to mine GPUs in the United States right now.
I turned all my machines off not too long ago. I was pretty upset, but had to be done.
And some of the good locations have become openly hostile to miners, especially here in Washington. You can see some of the big power companies are starting to kind of crack down a little bit. Same thing in New York. So also in the United States, we have this incredibly ridiculous tariff now. And so it's definitely a good idea to move your mine over somewhere else, preferably Canada, in my opinion.
So if you're like if you're a good sized miner, I'm not in any mining groups. Like, is there kind of a different perspective that the miners were having and chatting about during all of this?
Well, sure. Well, my perspective. I mean, so I was mining BTC. This whole ridiculous a time when Nchain was just like had all this hash rate. It was ridiculous, and everyone was like, "Oh, where are the ABC miners?" Right? It's like, well, duh, we're getting 40% more revenue right now. What do you think we're doing? So obviously, from my perspective, that's kind of what was happening.
Yeah. I mean, if you suspect like a big bounce back in BCH when this gets settled, though, I mean, you can prospect mine. I mean, you don't have to be making money at the moment, but you can be socking away coins.
Well, we know SV is doing that because they sure as heck aren't cashing out. But
I see that as a big problem, actually.
I
mean, what are they going to do with all these coins? I mean, look, just Jihan himself has a million of them. So,
yeah, I saw Jihan trolling on Twitter saying, "When are they going to start letting me send my coins onto the exchange so I can sell them, my SV coins?"
Yeah. I imagine we're going to see a big sell-off. I haven't seen many OGs like support Craig Wright, so those are the people that are going to want to, get an extra 10% on their position in BCH.
Yeah, the OG Bitcoiners that have a lot of Bitcoin, some of them haven't even split off Bitcoin Cash to begin with.
That's true.
I know a number of people like that. They're saying, this way I don't have to worry about which Bitcoin is Bitcoin, since my private keys hold them all together. So
Bitcoin Index recommendation by the Emperor of Bitcoin.
Yeah, you could always do that. Do the Bombadil approach and just sit on everything.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'd recommend.
So game theory for this week. I mean, what is the worst and best thing that could happen in the next, like by the end of Black Friday weekend here?
Well, I think that there's just not a whole lot that SV can do, because let's say they try to mine empty blocks. Nobody's transacting right now anyways. Like, everything's shut down, let alone there's just not a whole lot of activity on the Bitcoin Cash chain normally. So we've got zero comp. So even if your transaction doesn't go through in like 4 blocks, you're not going to notice. So that's not super effective. I guess the miners are probably picking, like Wes kind of pointed out with the mempool and how many transactions are going through. It looks like the miners are picking transactions, so I don't think poison block attacks are very likely. I don't know. I don't see anything this week. I think that when Craig Wright says that this is a long game, he's saying, shit, we got to regroup and then find some more investors.
I mean, I guess it really is down to the services, and if they're going to accept, you send them a BCH, are they going to split your coins for you? Because it'll get messy if one service does one thing and one does the other thing. Mm-hmm. So it's almost like the ecosystem's got to get its shit together and realize that, yeah, this is a threat, and we just have to deal with it, and we have to work around it.
Well, yeah, I think an economic ecosystem.
There's protocol. It's just everybody hasn't adapted to it because there is no replay protection.
Right. Well, I mean, the services don't even have to adapt. Like, everybody's running ABC anyways. So, if your coins, you will only get credited if you send actual BCH. If you send your SV, like, shit out of luck, should have had replay protection. So, I mean, just from out of the gates, nothing supports SV. So the ecosystem actually, if it does nothing, ABC gets, 99% of the market share. So.
Yeah, the ecosystem could, like, if I was an ecosystem in the ecosystem and I wrote a wallet software or an interface service, I would take the SV coin as tax, right? Like, I'm taking a risk in order to allow transactions to go through in this tumultuous time. So I'm going to go ahead and take those SV from you as a tax, and then hopefully be able to offset my risk by selling them.
That's actually a really good point. I always wondered how, like, long-term wallets plan on actually making money. So you could always do that. You just pick up any transactions that are not on the chain that they should have been sending.
Yeah. Minority forks. I mean, that's what BTC has been doing. I mean, like, obviously after Bitcoin Cash, there's hundreds of forks, and obviously most wallets didn't support any of them. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, they could have underneath just scooped them all up, thrown them on Shitcoin Exchange, and had a little bonus.
Well, did anybody? I think this is the first fork that didn't have replay protection. If I'm not right, or if I'm not wrong, I think everybody else changed the transaction format.
The ETC one didn't, but the ETC one was not expected or planned for, right?
Right.
People kept mining, and then an opportunity arose, and a market opened up for it. I think another long-term scenario could be that even if the ABC team themselves doesn't do it, maybe Unlimited could do it. Another client could come along that offers a full node following the ABC rules, but also offers replay protection, and then they would take over as the reference implementation of the ABC rules,
right?
Because that would be the safe wallet to use.
Right. Well, I mean, it's hard to put an exact date on it, but any coins in circulation should already have replay protection on them, just the way Coinbase transactions work. All those split all the coins that they combine with. And then I've been splitting coins. Bitcoin.com splits coins. All the exchanges split coins. So if I was guessing, I mean, I'd say the majority of coins in circulation are already split.
I think it's less of a big deal. I think more the big deal is sharing the proof of work algorithm. So
yeah, definitely. Yeah, I was kind of, I mean, I knew it would be a big deal, but I was curious to see how an emergency proof of work change would work in a contentious fork. Like who, would exchanges still run the ABC software on some other algorithm as BCH, or is that basically everybody kind of follows the SV chain at that point?
That's all a part of the overall consensus here. I personally think if proof of work change happened, a very good chunk of even the ABC community would just leave.
Yeah, I guess especially, I mean, I guess miners are kind of out of luck at that point.
Yeah, I think the ecosystem is going to bleed miners as the price bleeds. Like the combined price of ABC and SV, if it continues to trickle down, mining will, miners, having been a miner for a while, I only care about if my mining is profitable.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not making a big political statement with mining because I'm GPU mining, for God's sake, as a Bitcoin pseudo maximalist. So
earning.
Yeah, get out of here. There's a Bitcoin Cash chat. Yeah, I do think, I mean, at some point we're going to kind of see a leveling off of hash power, just because you do have bear markets and bull markets. And I think it's just going to get to a point where like there's enough mining machines out there and they're just going to be activated or deactivated due to price. Like, I don't think we're going to see like this exponential rise forever.
So as a group, do you guys, I mean, obviously SV is competition, but do you guys see competition, Lightning as competition or Dash as competition? Who is really competing for crypto as money? Directly with,
I guess the only ones I can think of that are like wanting to do on-chain scaling are like Dash. I guess that's pretty much it. I hate Dash. So to answer your question,
well, I think
such a strong word, Noah.
well, I think on-chain and off-chain scaling should be done simultaneously, especially on Bitcoin Cash. There's no reason why we can't have second layer solutions on our chain as well. I know that the malfix is really kind of contentious between different people, but I don't see a problem with the malfix and then seeing people port things over to Bitcoin Cash as well. I think, I mean, I support Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash, but I think one thing that some problems that are going to happen with Bitcoin and the Lightning Network is eventually, I mean, if you read the Lightning white paper, you'll see that the block size is still constrained, even onboarding onto the Lightning Network and off again if you have millions and millions of people. So I think Bitcoin is going to really want to look at what we're doing on Bitcoin Cash because they may need some of those solutions in the future, and we should be looking at what they're doing because we may need some of their solutions as well. So I believe that there's a lot of competition, and I believe that everyone should definitely keep an open mind on what's going on.
Yeah, I'm actually pro Lightning on Bitcoin Cash as well. I think because the Lightning, I don't think it's a good scaling solution per se, but it is interoperable like between different blockchains. So if Bitcoin Cash integrates it even like a little bit, it doesn't even have to be like routing on Bitcoin Cash. It could just be even centralized, just like a waypoint. It allows for you to be in the Lightning ecosystem. Any merchants, any services, they're all kind of interoperable. So I'm pro Lightning Network is a interoperable solution. I think it'll take a while though, probably 3 or 4 years.
Well, I had a really interesting conversation with Stop and Decrypt in the Dragon's Den, and we were kind of talking about the difference between Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash, and what it kind of clicked in my mind was that Bitcoin, a lot of the people who are really supportive of it, rightfully so, have a lower risk threshold, right? Because it's their financial network. contentious hard forks. They don't want, look what's happening to us right now, using soft forks and things like that. So they're really conservative about their financial network, and they really want to build it over the long term in the safest possible way, right? And so what you have is that's incompatible with some people who have higher risk thresholds, right? So people who are able to take, who want to take larger risks, right? And so what happens is you saw the block size debate. You have people with the least risk threshold and people with the higher risk threshold. And we kind of come to the agreement that a split was inevitable because these individuals who are higher risk are going to fork off because they can only handle being low risk adverse for so long. So I think this was kind of an inevitable thing between individuals who are willing to take more risk than and there's no right or wrong, right? It's just a preference. So we're going to see both play out. We're going to see the safer option on Bitcoin, right? Scaling it slower. And then you're going to see the other option, which is on Bitcoin Cash, which is much more aggressive. Mm-hmm. And we're going to see those two play out.
Right. I'm a particular shill right now for Drive Chain because they have that fusion method, which is a way to actually possibly merge Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash back to like one blockchain, one proof of work. And Bitcoin Cash just acts as a merge mine sidechain. So I dig that.
Well, the more the merrier. I mean, it's permissionless innovation. So get all these solutions out there.
If we could come back together on side chains, like being interoperable and do atomic swaps inside Lightning and with Drive chain and whatever else, rootstock, whatever else comes along.
We wouldn't even need a blockchain. We just do all the other chains instead.
Yeah, but we do. I mean, we still need the on-chain space here, right? Like, I think we're seeing with the split a little bit of kind of just a more granularity in the political spectrum here. Like we've got, I would actually argue that the Bitcoin Cash side, now the ABC side, may be more of the moderates. They want on-chain scaling. They also want permissionless second layer innovation as well. And then we've got the big block extremists that are just like, big blocks. We've got core, which is like, hey, like you said, the low risk threshold. Hey, we don't want to up the block size. We want to see what else we can do with second layer first.
Yeah, I think you saw a large part of the split currently that's happening in Bitcoin Cash is I think there are two different kinds of people that kind of joined. I think they're the people that were just like big block maximalists. Everything should be on chain, and they tend to be pretty heavy advocates for it. And I think you had like people like me that were just like, hey, I would really enjoy a block size increase. That way I can just kind of continue on with using it. Right. Like I'm not particularly for it. Like that's pretty much it.
Yeah, we were willing to take that risk of, maybe slightly less decentralization in the name of scale, So yeah, I think that's where a lot of this comes into play.
So, all right. Well, I'm kind of running out of stuff to say, to be honest with y'all. So I don't know if y'all want to kind of like any other things to talk about, or y'all kind of want to start wrapping this up.
Yeah. I just want to kind of hear your personal thoughts about the whole Craig thing from earlier.
Yeah. So, I don't know if you saw that. You probably didn't, John, but there was a stream. This is actually a counter stream. We forked their stream.
Fork all the stream.
Over on what's that website called?
Keyport.
Yeah,
TV.
Keyport TV. They had a people monitoring the Hashwar and had little segments with different guests. And I had a section. I was invited over there. I was the only ABC person there, out of probably 20 different ones. And so I start, it's just me, and then I'm just reading some comments and talking about my perspective. And like 10 minutes into it, out of the hour, boom, Craig Wright drops in. And he's just like, fuck you stupid, look at all my money. He like pulls out his watches, like these Rolexes, and he's like, look how rich I am. You can't fuck with me. I'll make Jihan and Roger bleed to death. I hate him. He just like
string Jihan up is what he said and bleed him out.
Right. So. And I was like, I'm kind of a inverted person or personality. Like I'm shy. And so like when he came in, I was like, okay, I'm either going to have to buck up here or I'm just going to it's going to be horrible. So It was a surprise, so I didn't take it very well because it was a surprise. But I tried to buck up, and I think I like mitigated like damage down to a minimum.
You're good, man.
It was hilarious.
In the end, so they cut me off at like the hour. Like
they kept asking you if you had skin in the game. It's like, oh, what do you have in the game? What do you have in the game? It's just like,
yeah. I was like, fuck you, dude. I got so much skin in the game you wouldn't believe. I could sign blocks from 2012. And I was like, and he was like, was talking about how his son could sign blocks from 2010. I was like, I'll sign it right damn now. Can you sign yours? And, I asked him to prove like all the different things he was saying. He wouldn't do it. I tried my best, but he tends to blast out information and then throw a straw man in afterwards. So you can't like defend the straw man and, try to comprehend and then counter the tech because it hits too much. So it was kind of a clusterfuck, but it was fun. And in the end, we had like 2 minutes in between where we were cut off, and we unblocked each other on Twitter. So I think you
hugged it out.
Yeah,
so. Unblocked it out.
Which is actually really good because he says so much stuff on Twitter. And people retweet it, it really gets annoying to have to like copy and paste to see what people are retweeting and commenting on.
I have to sign out just to read his shit.
Right. So, I mean, that being said, like I used to troll him on Twitter before I got blocked. I can't do it anymore. It takes you out of crypto Twitter.
Wait, where's the clip again? Did you record it?
No, I didn't record it. I actually messaged the guys at Keyport and they said that they have it. And so that's going to go in like my little personal collection of things that I did in my Bitcoin career.
Pretty epic.
It was amazing.
I do wonder how much money they were paying the guy to run that stream for 100 viewers.
It was like 60 viewers. Like shout out to all you cool viewers. We got 160 right here.
That's funny. So you didn't go full redneck, but a little bit of redneck slipped out, huh?
I'm pretty redneck. I live in the sticks. Like I went full redneck. I had my my pajama suit on at the time, which is like my debating suit. It's nice and shiny.
Oh yeah, shiny things are good things.
Yeah, dude, people love the suit's great. I need to get with like the Trump version. They have like a black one with like golden edges, kind of an accent. But I mean, like you said, Colin, I guess final thoughts are just. Oh, I just wish I could have prepared so bad because it was an ambush, and if I would have had material and things planned out, I think I would have handled it a lot better. But everyone knew that I was going to be on the stream, so it was a little bit of a one-way street there. But I had a lot of fun, and I think Twitter enjoyed it just because it is funny as hell.
Yeah, had to be there.
yeah. He started, he's flexing about yachts and how much money he's got, and it's just like, no bullshit. I bet Roger and Jihan have more money than you, and just like going back and forth about like who can flex more.
Yeah, it's so insane. You just like get trapped in that. It's just like, wait, what? This guy's like,
yeah. I'm gonna have to do like a public block signing and like try my best to like market it for him to come and like sign anything. Sign anything before like 2014. So hopefully that'll happen. But yeah, you never know. But I guess that's all I have to say about that.
Are you gonna post this? Are you gonna post this video on your YouTube channel?
100%. So I mean the keyboard
Twitter handles.
Twitter. Yeah, let's all kind of shill whatever social media you have before we head out. I'll go first, of course. Subscribe to this channel, like, do the bell thing, and follow me on Twitter because I spend too much time there. It's at Don_Wonton. Whoever wants to go next.
Unsubscribe and block.
All right, guys, I gotta run.
All right, later, man.
Bye.
My social is at Colin Enstead, COLLINENSTAD. I'm all over Telegram, BCH groups. I'm sure you see me around.
Show your documentary for a second.
So I'm working on basically a feature-length documentary about the scaling war, basically from when Satoshi disappeared to now. So it's going good, about halfway through production. So should be very educational and fun to watch. So.
Right. So like I was there whenever you were doing some of it at Satoshi's Vision. That was Japan, right? That was Mexico.
That was Tokyo.
Yeah, in Japan. So like at the time, none of this had happened. So is this kind of like shifted the documentary a bit?
Yeah, it's interesting because I did an interview.
Wah wah wah.
No,
We just lost Colin. Right, what about you, John? You got to shill anything? You got some shit coins you want to throw out real quick? Socials.
I got an ICO in the spring. No, I don't. I am Free Gen X all over the socials, and I'm one of the hosts of the Atlanta at Bitcoin Atlanta meetup here in town. So with Rich Clark and Randy Mitchell. So come out and see us at the airport at the Globe Hub, and yeah, we have a little incubator that's getting started over there. So we got a free place to come and work and just be a part of the scene here in Atlanta for those who are interested.
All right, awesome. I'll follow you real quick. What was it again?
Free Gen X.
Free Gen
X. Yeah. And my avatar is always me and a Bitcoin accepted here.
Are you a hashtag reckless?
Yeah.
There we go. Oh, sweet. You're running is that a Raspberry Blitz?
No, that's a Thundroid. That's Odroid running a full node and a Lightning node.
Right. Nice. Are you is it capable of routing? Is it strong enough?
It's a little flaky. We'll call it a prototype.
Right.
I'm trying to get something better put together that I can hand someone to use as a point of sale unit that maybe has BTC Pay on it.
All right, cool. Yeah.
When does BTC Pay accept BCH?
It's politically unfeasible at this time, probably.
Politically unfeasible, fair enough.
Technically, it's probably pretty easy. But.
We'll just fork that shit like everything else.
They forked from BitPay, didn't they?
It has to GitHub, so you can do that.
Nice.
Right.
If you can write C#.
I hate C#. All right, Ty, you got anything?
Yeah, I ain't got nothing to show, but keep up the good work, Tom. You're doing it.
All right, appreciate it. All right, guys. Later.
Later.
Signing off.
Peace.